Hello, everyone, and welcome back to SSRG Research Stories. I am here with a wonderful scholar, Dr. Akintunde, and I'm going to invite him to give us a brief introduction of who he is before we talk about his excellent research.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prince. My name is Tosin Yinka Akintunde. I would like to call myself a social researcher because I have a bachelor's degree in demography and social statistics from Obafemi Awolowo University. And afterwards, I went to China where I did my master's degree in sociology and a PhD in sociology. Currently, I'm a senior research and data analyst with Ministry of Mental Health and Addiction, Government of Alberta. Before then, I had a short stint at the Faculty of Nursing, University of Alberta, where I was a postdoctoral fellow. More or less, I'm interested in childhood adversity, psychological trauma, and social determinants of health. It's a privilege to be here today to join Dr. Prince and share some of what we have been doing at the background for the world to see. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. We are so happy to have you. So, the first study that I will be talking about is titled Interconnectedness of Exposure to Community Violence, Maternal Emotional Dysfunction, and Child Emotional Distress in Nigeria, a consideration for promoting family cohesion, which was published in Journal of Public Health. So, can you start by telling us why you chose to do this study? What led you to do this study?
It is interesting because some of the factors that I consider when I want to do any study is my positionality. What I mean is some of the experiences that I have actually gone through, and I see that there is limited attention on those problems. That study, the uniqueness of that study is the fact that it captures the nuances of community violence in Nigeria, especially southwest Nigeria. Community violence is a major problem where any community can erupt with violence anytime. And then we have family system within those communities who they have already accepted their fate. They just live day by day coping with all of those things.
So,
And as a
it's like the
person,
norm.
it's like a norm.
Yeah.
And as someone, as I said before, my positionality influenced that particular research. I grew up in a neighborhood where I was used to seeing violence every day, every now and then. And one important thing that I would also like to stress out is that that research was conducted within transport park communities where it's a popular term we call Agbero in
Oh,
South. So
can you explain
imagine
what Agbero means for people
Agbero
who?
are people who are in charge of buses. They're the
Mhm.
ones who bring in passengers to commercial buses and help them to get from point A to point B.
So,
They
like, there are
are,
street hustlers who
they are,
help
they are street
facilitate
hustlers.
public transport.
They work with public transport and they are not educated at all. So
So, they are the main participants of the study.
they are not the main participant. The participants were the families that live close to those transport terminals. Were
Oh,
the
and there
main
is a lot of
participants
violence associated with that Agbero
within that environment.
place. Ah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So, when I was scanning through the article, I saw that this is a quantitative study. So there were
Exactly.
a lot of numbers, and I believe that most people, when they are reading it, they might not fully comprehend what the numbers means. That's another reason why we do what we are doing now. So, can you tell
Exactly.
us in simple terms the main findings of this research?
So after we conducted our study and we did the analysis, what we reported on is the fact that communities and families living in those violent prone neighborhood are very vulnerable to see community violence every time, such as mugging, gunshots every time, people selling drugs, people, we have communal conflict. When they witness all of those things, families that are in that place, they are at risk of mental health problems. Now, the attention is on children. Children from age 2 to 10 who are raised in such communities, they have problems. This problem is first, number one, the fact that they are living in that neighborhood where they are exposed to community violence. It affects their mental health. What we discover is that there is emotional distress in those children, which means that community violence directly caused them to have emotional problems.
Can I quickly ask a question? So
Right.
you are saying there's a correlation between the community violence and the
Child
emotional
emotional
well-being of the children, right? Is it
mental well.
is it from transferred through their mother or their parents, or is it
So
still environmental after they have been, birthed?
So there are multi-level to the findings of the study. So that is the first layer. I was going to build on that first layer by saying that the fact that they are being raised in that neighborhood where they are exposed to community violence has a direct influence on their mental well-being. It means it negates their mental well-being. Now, because those children, we believe that they are young, and women are the ones that are mostly responsible for the caregiving of these children. Women who are there, who are taking care of these children, they are the ones that are more exposed to this problem. When they see it, it affects the way they support the children. For example, when these mothers, when they see all those gun violence, community violence, people fighting every day, people dealing drugs every day, they internalize this problem. Their emotional health is disrupted. For example, a mother will increase their supervision of such children. It is not out of overcaring, it is out of fear. They are afraid. I need to make sure that I supervise this child. For example, you don't want to send them out too late at night. You just amplify everything you want to do because the mothers can sense the risk in that community. So their emotion is everywhere. Their thought is everywhere. So that is why we captured it as dysfunction. Their emotional dysfunction is more noticeable. When that happens, I just said that impact of community violence is evidence on the mother through the way they express their emotions. They try to do too much. They are not stable. They don't have that sense of security. They transfer it to the children. And when
This is similar to what I have heard from Black women in America who say that because of the violence that they experience, which makes them to try to prepare their children for a violent world and be overprotective, it makes their children not be as adventurous as white children would have been. So I'm
exactly.
sensing similar parallel in what you're saying.
It is interesting that when I was building on the study, I only had one reference, a scholar from Southwest called Ajayi. Ajayi is the only person who captured that neighborhood issue. But that study was limited in the exploration. They only talk about the fatalities, the problems, that this is something that they need to watch for, but not the psychological impact or how it disrupts the family system itself. Or nor did they provide any solution. What are the things that we could begin to look for in that community that could help them? So that is the baseline. What I just explained is the baseline of the problem. When they live in that community, it exposes children to a poor psychological well-being. They throw tantrum, they internalize problem, there are traces of trauma in those children. It does not end there. Mothers are more impacted because they see it, they know what to do with it. So when they are trying to deal with it, their emotional stability is disrupted in the process. That's when they start to become overprotective. Children who cannot talk, they cannot act. They cannot capture well what they are saying. So they internalize it, they externalize it. When they witness what the mother is doing, when they see how the mother is acting, it shows in that. So Then we now went further to look what are the protective construct or factors that we can integrate into this problem. That is why we introduce family cohesion. This is when a family comes together to build fellowship, to build connection, to support each other. Now, what we see is that it is important for family to come together in such neighborhood. But mothers may not benefit from it. This is what we discovered.
Okay, so this is for the advantage of the children and not the mothers.
Ideally,
Yeah.
it should benefit, because what we envisaged was it should benefit both. Because you could tell from that study that women also show some kind of emotional dysfunction, right? So when they show those dysfunction, then you can see that when you introduce family support, it should tone down some of the problems, emotional problems that they're facing.
Yeah.
It did not.
Interesting.
But when family support system is there, it was able to caution the impact of the emotional problem from mother, how it is being transferred to children. So mothers who are able to gather all these family support, maintain communication, maintain some kind of network, talk to each other in order to help each other go through whatever problem is coming from that community, that the children witnessing all of those efforts is able to help them to reduce the impact of the emotional dysfunction that is coming from the mother. It will reduce the impact. Again, when children witness the support from the family, the stress that is coming from the community in form of community violence, the family supports, that family cohesion is able to help them to translate the support into strength, and it tends to reduce the emotional problem in children. So it is very interesting what we found, and I believe. Go on.
Do you have any like addition? I know you've talked about the intervention, right, and how it plays out, but are there additional recommendations, like,
So that the protective factor is at the analysis level. But what we are recommending for public health intervention, social work intervention, is that government need to see the problem in these communities, that it is disrupting family system. And as I said before, my positionality was very, very important, because when you look at interventions coming towards the children, current policies focus more on the, vaccine, getting them to hospitals, but not the psychological, developmental issues relating to mental health of children. This is almost non-existent in these communities, especially in under-resourced communities. So government needs to start to look at these mothers and these children to see how they can begin to introduce them to some kind of mental health support. Because without this mental health support, families will still continue to struggle. The mothers and the children, they will continue to have poor mental well-being. So it is important to look at those communities. Even at the developmental level, maybe all these transport terminals, all these ag bureaus should move away from close proximities
to residential areas.
Exactly. And right now, I feel like the government still have a long way to go in terms of implementing, especially if they actually don't know that there is a problem.
Well, thank you so much. This was a wonderful story that you've told us about your research. And I'm hoping that there will be something that would, come out of this from the Nigerian government, because this is a very important issue. So we are going to come to the end of this story. And for other social researchers who are interested in sharing their story, you can always contact us at SSRG at socialsolutionsresearchgroup.org. I'll put it somewhere so you can always see that. Thank you.